In this episode of Lori's Maine Inspirations, we visit Wiscasset, a historic seaport village on the Sheepscot River, famous for having this really big bridge. Route 1 goes over it, and Route 1 also goes by Red's Eats, consistently voted best lobster roll in Maine. A little crowded there, so we like to go down to the Wharf, and so we'll visit the Wharf, take in the sights. We'll also visit this really cute museum. That's a converted milk car, and they have some cool displays that we'll take a look at before we go to where we like to eat lunch when we visit Wiscasset, and that's Sarah's Cafe. And here we're able to sit out on the porch, enjoy views of the river, especially when the weather cleared, and have a really nice meal. Lori had a salad, but I had my favorite, the whale boat. Love that. Then we visit a new place, Village Handcraft. And here's Eric McIntyre, who does, well, handcrafts. And we just sit there while he does a broom, and it's really cool. After visiting Eric, we head off to see the Wiscasset, Waterville and Farmington Railway. This is a historic 2-foot narrow gauge railway just down the road from Wiscasset, and volunteers have really built this place up. And so we see their construction, we visit their facilities where they have their rolling stock, and this stuff is just so either well preserved, restored, or reproduced, and it works. And so we eventually see this beautiful little steam engine come into the station. I'm sorry, I love trains, and there's nothing like a steam engine, especially when it's been restored so well, and there's no sound in the world quite like a steam whistle, except maybe a loon call. For years, my family's been coming to Maine, and my wife loves the place, and it's inspired a lot of her alcohol inks art. And now that she's retired and doing her art full-time, we're looking for more inspirations, and so we're creating this series to share that search and just to share the things we love about Maine while we go look for more things to love. Hey everyone, welcome to our Wiscasset episode. We actually filmed this a while ago, July 2nd.
Yeah.
Right after going to Bath, but we did 2 episodes in one day, but we still had fun.
Oh yeah.
We always have fun in Wiscasset. So enjoy the sights, enjoy Village Handcraft, Eric doing his broom. Not our normal thing, but it was still kind of cool. And of course, the railroad. Who doesn't love the steam engine? So got that to show you. So it's getting a bit of a facelift now. Wiscasset is often been referred to as one of the prettiest villages in Maine, and it's a historic village along Route 1, famous for this bridge. They've had a bridge over the Sheepscot River for well over 100 years, since before 1908, and so that's always been a major landmark. Another landmark for most of the 20th century were these 2 schooners that were kind of rotting away there, and so this was very much a sight you saw on the way headed north to Booth Bay. Another landmark is Red's Eats, consistently voted the best lobster roll in Maine. Red's is right on the corner there, and it attracts a huge crowd. You often have a line like Disney World going around the corner. And for a while, this was sort of a problem because you would get gridlock traffic here on Route 1, but they've since put in some traffic lights, and it works much better now. Still, I have to admit, I like to poke fun at people who wait in line at Red's because I have another plan. But it's worth it if you want to take the wait. These people will probably not be disappointed. Still, though, if you don't want to wait, you can go down to the Wharf. And so they have Sprague's Lobster on the Wharf. This is a major Wiscasset hack. You know, go to the Wharf, have a Sprague lobster roll. So you got choices here. It's a pretty wharf, nice picnic tables, funky decorations going on, ice cream shop. They also have this cute little pottery place that Lori likes, but other places to go. Here's Lori coming out of a little souvenir shop. But the big thing about this wharf is just the views you get of the Sheepscot River. It's just very pretty here. When I was a kid, there were 2 schooners back here, old sailing ships just rotting away, and when I was young, they still had their masts and they still looked like ships. One of them was a bit tipped over. They were cool. I always loved seeing them. Lori got to see the lumps of their hulls still here in the 90s but they've since been taken away. But it's a great childhood memory.
Fortunately, they have a little museum, and here, this is a reproduced milk cart from the railroad. And inside, they have these models, a little hard to see through the glass, but the models of the Hesper and Luther Little. They also have the photos I've been showing you. And so you can go in and get a sense of what that wharf was there right when you're on it. And so it's a really great exhibit. They also have a diorama at the end of the car that shows you what the wharf used to look like. And where the wharf is, there used to be buildings built out over the water, and they had a railroad on the water side, right? And so what you're looking at is what the buildings that were there, right? On one side of the street, that would have been below Red's. Here's the bridge. And then these buildings are where the wharf is. And the railroad was built on the outside of them. And there's another railroad, the standard gauge railroad is in the back there, right? It goes on the other side. So these buildings had a railroad on either side. And so it was a lot of commerce going on here on the waterfront in Wiscasset. If you step outside, you can see the remnants of those pilings are still there. And these all supported the little narrow gauge railroad that fed the waterfront side. We talked about Red's Eats and Sprague's lobster rolls, but the place we like to go is Sarah's Cafe. And that's right there. And Lori actually went there ahead of me. It started raining. She was sensible. She got a seat on the porch. And it's just a great view looking out over the Sheepscot River. Kind of wish that tree wasn't there, but even with the rain coming through, it was really quite pretty. You could sit there and see the boats on the river, and here, we're watching a lobster boat come up to his mooring. Really pretty view. If you can't get a front row seat for the waterfront action, Sarah's has a lot of seating inside. Great views here, and I'm not proud of this, but one of my favorite things to do is be here, high, dry, eating some nice warm food and looking out at this view. The smug self-satisfaction is epic! Lori is, of course, above such things as she enjoys her beer, takes in the view, and waits for the food. And what food did we get, you ask?
Cobb salad.
All right, Cobb salad. And I confront the whaleboat. Looks like a big clam. I can tell my mother I'm eating my broccoli. Honestly, I've never seen Sarah's this empty. We were at a weird time. But the thing that's cool, not just the views, but also the history you can pick up there. Picture the old bridge. Ship on the ship's sky. Scooters. Picture of unloading ice. The big industry around here is ice. Yeah, where do I find all of this stuff? Yeah, you get the idea. After lunch, we headed out up Water Street past Red's and found this great new shop, Village Handcraft. It was just really pretty on the outside, and we heard voices coming through the windows. We went inside to find this shop and had the owner, Eric McIntyre, tell us about it.
Village Handcraft is a hand tool workshop and a handcraft store, and I make things on one side of the room, and then finished goods are available for sale on the other side of the room. This shop just opened about 7 months ago, so I opened the day after Thanksgiving in 2021, and other than that, it's been a hobby for me for about 5 or 6 years now. Right now I'm making a lot of brooms. I make wooden spoons, wooden bowls, and then in time I anticipate doing some more furniture making, chair making, things like that as well. Yeah. One of my favorite things about the shop is that as folks come in, I'm often here doing my craft work, and it creates the opportunity for other people to share about their projects. So I hear about people's sewing projects or their gardening projects, their latest cooking projects, their woodworking projects, their grandmother's woodworking projects, and so I get all these stories from folks that kind of helps to build this shared sense of really valuing handwork and our ability as humans to make things with our hands.
While this is not the kind of art we normally focus on, there was definitely an artistry to his work and just these vignettes everywhere you look that would be the subject of art. So we really enjoyed being in the shop with the hand tools. They're functional, but they're also quite beautiful. And then you would turn around and there's Eric working, and he has this great tableau. So we enjoyed being there, and
finding out a little bit more about him.
I grew up in New Jersey and came up here a couple of years ago to teach and lead trips for a summer camp.
Lots of people from Jersey around here.
Yeah, we find our way to Maine.
There was just something very soothing about watching him do this.
I like that.
Obviously, we enjoyed our time in Eric's shop and really liked seeing his craftsmanship using the hand tools and just a young guy using old tools. And I can't wait to see what he starts working on next. Eric may use old tools, but he's a young guy, so he's got a good website, and you can learn more about him at villagehandcraft.com. Whenever we visit Wiscasset, we like to go to the Wiscasset, Waterville, and Farmington Railway. This is a museum and an operating 2-foot gauge, narrow gauge railroad. It has a cute station that they've rebuilt, and they have several miles of track that they run steam locomotives and trains out and back on. They have a cute gift shop, ticket agency, and so as we're sitting there, we're waiting for the train to come back, we decided to look around, see what else they've got. At any healthy railroad museum, there will always be a lot of construction going on. And here we see the volunteers are putting together a roundhouse to go with their turntable. And that looks like that's going to be a great addition to the railroad. The great thing about this railroad is while you're waiting for the train to come down the track, you can poke around. And here we go into the train shed, see another train that's out of service, and it's got a smokestack covered by a garbage can, kind of cute. But this rolling stock is so nice. They keep it well preserved, and it's small because those rails there are 2 feet apart. Normal railroad would be 5 feet apart. And so we have this kind of scaled down stuff, but it's very well preserved, original in most cases. And we have the freight cars, milk cars here, because this is how people moved themselves, their freight, their products around before they had cars. Very important part of Maine. Lots of just very beautiful rolling stock preserved here. It takes a lot of work and a great workshop to keep this rolling stock going. And it's just fun to walk around and see their tools, their projects underway, and the whole place is just itself kind of a museum. And then we also found some volunteers working to make a new railroad car. And the attention to detail, the wood, it's just really great work and fascinating to see. Before long, our visit to the shop was interrupted by the arrival of the train. And it's really great to see a steam engine come into the station. Forgive me for lingering, but a steam engine, especially one so well preserved, is a thing of beauty. We have brass fittings, all these pipes, the steam running through that gives it a sense of almost being something alive. And so just being around a steam engine is always very satisfying to me. And so I was very much enjoying getting this footage. What I like about this railroad is it's accessible, but it's real. These were real trains that moved the commerce of Maine around, kept the state going, and so they're accessible, but they're real, and this is a great museum to visit. If for nothing else, then it has some of the best bathrooms around, which is not to be sneezed at in Maine, I gotta tell you. But it's just also very quaint and picturesque, so I highly recommend taking the time to visit if you're in the area.
Well, that was our episode for today. we, like we say, we enjoy going to Wiscasset. We enjoy everything we show you, or else I guess we wouldn't show it.
We do. We obviously we love Maine.
Yes, and we are going to be back there. We're going to head back in 2 weeks. So we've got next week. We're going to show you a little about Rangeley, Maine, and we're here in Lori's studio, and not for nothing, by the way. She does her work right under a picture of the 2 schooners from Wiscasset. That's kind of why we're here. But also, we're going to be showing you a little of how she does art. At the very least, we're going to show a birch tree, how she does birch tree tiles. So in the coming weeks, we've got Rangeley and we've got Lori actually doing, it's Lori's main inspirations. And so we're actually gonna deliver on that, and I'm looking forward to that personally. So thank you for joining us, and see you next time.
Bye bye.